Okay, so let's go to Illustrator, and now we're going to talk a little bit about the basic shapes. Let's open up a new document, File New, or again, that's Command N, that's the key right by your spacebar. And here we have some things we're going to talk about. You can have a print document. For those of you in web design, you can have a web document, mobile devices, video and film, CMYK, basic RGB, flash. Right now we're just going to stick to print. You only want one artboard, and we want the size just to be regular US letter. 000, leave the defaults right now. So print, one artboard, US letter. Alright, let me zoom back out. Okay, so let's take a look at our toolbar. Whenever you see this little triangle in the corner of any tool, that means there's more tools hidden underneath it. And indeed, if I hold down and I click, you can see that I have a whole bunch of different shapes under here. So we are going to go to the Ellipse Tool, and that means circle. Now let's take a look at our toolbar. At the bottom here we have our fill color, which is currently white, and our stroke, which is currently black. And you can click on either. You can flip them around with this. You can set it to the default with that one, this little guy down here. Let's not put a stroke on this. Let's click the stroke and go down here and say none. So when you see that red line through something, it means none. Let's click our fill. And now again, you can either go window swatches, or you can actually click on the fill and choose a color. So let's choose a color, any color you like, it's up to you, and hit OK. Alright. So if we start to draw, I'm just dragging, I'm not letting go, I have the mouse down. You see that the circle can be oval, it can be any kind of shape. With your letters, when you're doing your logos, I told you to hold the shift down to keep them from stretching. Now if you hold the shift down when you're drawing a circle, you get a perfect circle. Now you might not want a perfect circle, you might want an oval, but for this, what we're doing now, I want you to hold the shift down and just draw out a nice perfect circle. Then you're going to let go of the mouse first and the shift second. Because if you don't, if you let go of the shift first and then the mouse second, it will snap to whatever shape was indicated by how you dragged. Alright, so we've just got one nice lovely circle. Let's make sure we deselect it. Oh, ignore that. And that's V for the black arrow, and click on the background. Okay, so drew a circle, we want to deselect it. You hit V on your keyboard to get the selection tool and just deselect it. Alright, so let's choose another color. You can grab a swatch. Don't choose any gradients or patterns at this time, just choose solid colors. Alright, so I want the ellipse tool again, and notice that it's L on the keyboard, so you could also hit L on your keyboard. And let's drag it out. Okay, so we could hold the shift down and that's all nice. But let's say I want this to be right in the middle of this blue circle. So let's just delete that circle. Let's move down here. And now when you hold the Option key down, you see, before you do anything, you get these lines around it. That means you're going to draw from the middle out. So go ahead and hold the Option down, hold the shift down too, so we can keep it a nice perfect circle, and draw out, and then let go of the mouse first and then the Option and shift second. Alright, so now we have two circles. I'd like to line them up. So if you go window, you can see there's a palette called Align. a toolbar called Align. So go ahead and bring up the Align box up, and then we will select both our circles by either shift clicking or click and drag both. And you can play with these. It's up to you to play with them and see what they do. I want you to have it nice and centered, so I'm going to center it here, and that says horizontal align center and vertical distribute center. Oh no, that's not what I want. There we go. I want that one. So we want this and this. So now this is perfectly centered. They're both perfectly centered. Let's click and drag a rectangle tool. And again, select a different color. Make sure that you don't have either one of these selected because you'll change their color. And if you do something you don't like, it's Command Z, that'll undo. So choose a color. So now we have our rectangle tool, M on your keyboard. We can click and draw. Notice the same thing. I can kind of pull it anywhere. Now, I'm sure if I ask you, what do I hold down to make it a perfect square? You're going to say the Shift key. And let's say I want this right cut over the two circles. Now, I didn't start at the right location. It's kind of hard to move from the corner up. So I'm going to let go. I'm just going to hit Command Z. So Option will work here too. It'll draw from the center out. So I'm going to draw from the center out way down here. So I've got my Option and Shift down. So you might be saying, why would you do that? Why would you draw from the center out way down there? Well, you can actually move stuff while you're drawing. So I still have my mouse down. I have my Option down and my Shift down. Now I'm going to hold the space bar down and notice I can move my square. And when I get it close to where I want, I can let go of my space bar and still play around. Oh, I think it needs to be down a tiny bit and over. There we go. So the space bar will let me move an object while I'm drawing it. So let me review that again. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to click and drag. I'm just going to hold the Shift, but do know that you can draw it from the center by holding the Option. And I want to move it up there, but while I'm drawing it, so I can keep resizing it. So I'm going to hold the space bar down. It doesn't let you change the size while you have the space bar down. I'm going to move it up here. Now I'll let go of the space bar. There we go. That looks pretty close. And I'm going to let go of the mouse first, and then my other modifier keys. So this is covering everything up, because as you draw objects, Illustrator will place one on top of the next one on top of the next one. So I'm going to send it to the back. I'm going to say Object, Arrange, Send to Back. There we go. And now I can grab all of these and just hit the line boxes and line them up perfectly. So there we go. Just a kind of fun little tile. Now let's go back to where we got our rectangle and ellipse from. And see at the bottom here, there's something that says Star Tool. So we are going to go to the Star Tool. We're going to pick a new color. Again, make sure nothing is selected here. And now go ahead and click and drag, and you draw out a star. Now if you hold the Shift down, the only thing that does is makes the top point aim up. Not necessarily the most useful thing. So I'm just going to delete that star. And now we're going to click and drag our star. Now look at your keyboard, and you have the up and down arrows. Hit the up arrow. So the up arrow is going to add points to your star. Now if you want to take some away, the down arrow subtracts them till you have a triangle, not a star anymore. Alright, and I can resize it. Now notice that the proportion of the center to the starburst parts stays the same. I mean, the center gets bigger, but proportionally it's relatively the same. If I want that middle to be smaller and the starburst part to be bigger, I'm going to make it really small, and then I'm going to hold my Command key down and I'm going to drag out. So the Command key will designate a new size for the middle point of my star. Alright, so here we go. I'm going to move that up. And I'm just going to select all these. Center on my align panel. And let me move this up out of the way. Alright, I'm going to grab the star again. Star tool. Making sure nothing is selected. I'm going to choose a new color. And now when I drag out, I see that it's still set to that center point. Now I can remove points of the starburst, but let's say I don't want a tiny center point like that. So what do? Well, drag my cursor to whatever size I want the center point to be. Hit the Option key, then hit the Command key. So let me do that again. Option key, and then Command key. So you're going to hold Option, then hit Command, then let go of the Option. So I've designated a new middle size. So there we go. And then I can let go of the Command after I've chose it. That part's a little confusing. So I can go over that again for you. I'm choosing a new color, just trying to make all my stars look different. Alright, so if I want that to be a bigger middle point, I'm going to, wherever I move my cursor, whatever size it is, I then hold the Option key down, then the Command key down, I let go of the Option, now I drag out. If I want it smaller, I just move in, and then hold the Option down, or sorry, hold the Option down and then the Command down. Let go of the Option, drag out. So now I've got some really crazy stuff happening. I'm gonna align that. Line it up, line it up. I'm going to go Object, Arrange, and I'm going to say Send Backwards. I just want it one back. So you have that option to send it one back, or bring it forward one. Send one back. And I don't think I did it. Object, Arrange, Send Backwards. There we go. Now I'm going to grab this orange star. And I'm going to show you, we changed some colors. I'm going to show you some other things you can do. We're going to say Window, Transparency. Now, by the way, if you see a check mark by something, the window's already up. If you can't find it, sometimes unchecking it and rechecking it will bring it to the front. Window, Transparency. And let me move this out of the way. And let me move this down. All right, so notice that immediately I have an opacity, so I can change how much one thing shows through another thing. Kind of nice. Let me put it back to 100 so you can take a second and grab the opacity and go down, go up. Put it back to 100 when you're done playing. Notice it says Normal for the blending mode. If you click on that, because you see double arrows, that means there's more stuff there. So depending on what you choose here, darken, multiply, color burn, you're going to get different effects as well. So this can be kind of fun stuff. So you can choose any one that you like. I don't like that one. All right, I'm just going to leave it at multiply. So you can see that it shows through some of the other stuff. And if you want to play with anything else and change its mode, I'm not going to stop you. It's fun. Okay. I'm going to show you some other stuff. Let's go back here. Let's go back to our ellipse tool. And that is L on your keyboard. Make sure nothing's selected. Now we dragged out a circle, but you can also just click once real quick and you'll get a box up that lets you type in size. And you can type it any size you want. It says points right now, but you can type 2 IN for inches by 2 IN. Now it changed it to 144 points. That's 144 points equals an inch. And then hit OK, and it's going to make it automatically that size. We're going to choose our black arrow, V on the keyboard. Woo, sorry about that. All right. Now I have one circle and I want to copy. One of the easier ways to do that is to put your cursor over it. It's selected. Hold the Option down and see you get that little white arrow beside it, right? So when you get that little white arrow, hold the Option down and then drag. And it makes a copy. So Option drag is a nice way to make copies. Now we had talked previously about the Pathfinder, and we use it to knock one letter out of another letter. There's a lot of uses for it. Let's say I needed to make a lovely moon shape. Well, if I move this circle over the other circle, this remaining part right here would make a really great moon shape. Right, there we go. So I'm going to use the Pathfinder to make that shape. So Window, Pathfinder, and mine is already up. Let me bring it down. Now I need to select both shapes. And as I move my cursor over them, it's going to tell you what they do. Now, unite is going to make them one object. We definitely don't want that. Minus front. That looks about right. And indeed, perfect moon shape. If in doubt, you can always click divide and then use your white arrow, A on your keyboard, and it divided all the pieces into their own shapes. We could delete that. We could grab both these pieces and we could unite them. Notice now all the little points disappear. Let me do that again. So where it was overlapping here, it disappears when I hit unite. So sometimes it's easier to make objects by combining simple shapes and uniting them or knocking pieces one out of the other. All right, I'm going to show you one more fun tool in basic shapes. And I'm just going to make our nice green circle again. Make sure it's selected. I'm going to move some windows out of the way. We're going to say Effect, Distort and Transform, Transform. So Effect, Distort and Transform, Transform. And it brings up a window. The first thing you need to do is click Preview so you can see what is happening, because you won't otherwise. So we're going to click Preview. Now what Distort and Transform does is it'll make copies. Now you could just Option drag, Option drag, Option drag, Option drag, use those align panels over and over. But there's an easier way if you have to do a whole bunch of multiple objects that are the same. And that's using this transform effect. So make sure you have preview selected. And I'm going to make 10 copies. Now you can see, nothing happened. Well, that's because all 10 are piled on top of each other. So let's move them. Whoa, there they go. We're moving in the other direction. And by the way, this goes to 100, negative 100. But if you wanted them separated more, you could type in your own number. And there we go. So you can change, we could have them go, let me put it back to 0. We could also have them go the other direction, up or down. I realize I said them opposite what happened. All right. And if I want them to change size, we have scale here. I'm going to move the scale down this way, and they're going to get smaller. Now they got distorted because I haven't moved the vertical. I'm just going to type 16 into that so they match perfectly. And I think that might have been a little bit of too dramatic. Let me try 50 and 50. All right, there we go. And this will change how they move around. And this little fella here changes how they wrap around as well. You can hit random if you want. Didn't work out so well there, but maybe it'll work well for you. All right, so this is, a nice thing that you can play with. You can do some fun stuff with. I'm going to hit OK. Now notice that these all move together, and I can't actually grab these. That's because they're not there yet. Right now it's just an effect. And to see that it's effect, I'm going to go Window, Window, let me remember what box I need. Oh, shoot, come on. Appearance, there we go. Sorry about that. Window Appearance. When we bring up our appearance, I can see that it has no color on it, stroke is none, fill is green, and it has the effect, FX transform on it. So later on, if I decide I want to change it, I can just click. You have to hit preview again to see it, which is a pain. And I can change it. I'm going to put my angle to, there we go, 0. Now let's say I had a need to have all these separate. You can separate them. And you go Object, Expand Appearance. And now we've expanded them all. They're all grouped together still, but we know that we can say Object, Ungroup from previous tutorials. So now they're all separate objects. I've spread them out. Oops, sorry about that. Alright, so there they are. Now you probably noticed that the swatches, hopefully you have your swatches up. If not, say Window Swatches and bring it up. They have patterns. It's very easy to make a pattern. I'm just going to actually select these dots And I'm going to click on them. I'm going to drag them over my swatches. I'm going to let go. And you can see that it made them a pattern. It's very easy to make a pattern. And now if I draw a shape and I click that for my fill, ooh, yowza. It's going to fill it with that pattern that I made. I didn't have it on a square background, so it's actually going to be a see-through pattern. Let me see if it will freak out if I put this in. It might be too complicated. No, it did it. And it will repeat as I drag it out. It's pretty big. Might work better if we made it smaller. And I didn't hold my shift down, for shame. Drop it in there. And there we go. So you've learned to, oops, let me choose the new one, to manipulate, the basic shapes, how to combine them using the Pathfinder, how to arrange them, how to put an effect on them, how to make them a pattern.